Greetings and welcome to the Comics Coffee Metal Podcast. I am your host, Don Cardenas, and my guest today has been for over 20 years now, just killing it, literally on screen as iconic characters such as Sabretooth and Michael Myers and just a ton of other awesome roles. But today he's here to talk about his new venture, dipping his toes into the comic world with The Last Spartan Red Tape. So without further ado, Tyler Main, thank you for coming on the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, I'm so awesome we can make this work and happen. I usually don't do podcasts in the morning, so I'm glad I was able to like swing it because I got two kids and usually everything's done after they're sleeping. But
I hear you.
but knowing the
I'm
time
still trying to
zones
wake
and-
up myself.
yeah, yeah. I got the prerequisite coffee ready to go and all that. So,
Yeah.
I saw the campaign going for The Last Spartan, and shout out to Melissa Mazeris and Don't Hide PR. They've been good to the show, and they're awesome people. So I reached out, and we were able to get you on. I can't wait to talk about The Last Spartan. It looks really, really cool. You are working with some of my favorite creators on that book as well. And the story is really cool, and the whole campaign seems really, really awesome. But as is the rule of the show, before we get into that, I got to ask, Tyler Main, Comics Coffee Metal, what are you digging right now?
Man, I'm telling you, I am I just picked up this. This is something that I've been looking for a while.
Mm-hmm. Ah, nice. Yeah.
I just picked that. I probably paid too much for it, but I really wanted it for my collection, so
Yeah.
I got that. And I also picked up Christopher Priest's Vampirellas, so I'm
Okay.
diving into those.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's Wolverine 50, right? I think from volume 250. I think that was
I don't have my reading glasses on, so I can't.
for anyone who anyone listens to the audio version.
Yeah.
Tyler had the Greg Land EC Comics homage of Wolverine with him holding Sabretooth's head. An awesome cover. It's an awesome cover.
I'm not digging that part about it, but
Christopher Priest, just a legend. I love his Quantum and Woody stuff, and just for that I would love him. But of course, all the Milestone comic stuff he's done with Static and all that, and he's writing The Last Spartan. So I definitely want to dig into that with you when we get to the book. So, but yeah, I was pleased to see, not pleased, I was endeared to see how much comics have influenced your life before you started playing the characters on
yeah.
TV.
Growing up as a tall, skinny kid, glasses and braces in Canada, and being slightly dyslexic, I realized that I wanted to head towards comics real quickly because it's a very, very great visual.
Yes.
That it actually helped me learn how to read, because you'd make it through some of the words and then you'd get frustrated, and then I would just look at the pictures, and the pictures would help me tell the story. So I would imagine in my head, and I guess that's why I've become a creator and wanted to do this medium. And it's just a fantastic way to help people with reading disabilities learn to read and put two and two together,
Yeah, I mean, comics were huge for me in school, for just being able to just read so far past my grade level with tests and stuff like that. And my teachers would ask my mom, what is, he's reading 4 or 5 grades above his level, what's going on? She's like, he reads comics. I mean, there's a lot of big words in there. You don't think so, but there's a lot of concepts and things happening in there. And it's great to have the context of what's being said with the visuals and all that. And
yeah, exactly. So, you were at the other end of the spectrum. I was on the other side.
I was literally, I was not a tall, skinny kid. I'm a short, chubby guy for for majority of my life. So that's fine though. But yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. How about metal? Are you a big metal guy?
I listen to the Zombie. I got to support the boss, and I've been in a Slayer video or two. So yeah, I check it out.
Yeah. Awesome. With the Last Spartan and the imagery from that book, I'm like, instantly I'm thinking like, is he like in the Black Label Society? Is he like, is he a Zach Wild guy? You mentioned like hot guitars in your bio. And I'm like, that sounds like a Zach Wild guy. But no, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I wish I could play like Zach.
Oh yeah, don't we all?
I'm just dabbling around with it, but
Yeah. I've been trying to learn one of his No More Tears solo for like off and on for like 8 months, and it's just there's a lot there.
there is a
There's
lot
a lot
there.
there.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, how about coffee? You have a great coffee component to the Kickstarter. Are you a big coffee drinker? Is that something
Oh man, I
that
got
gets you?
my coffee machine going. I do 2 shots of espresso,
Mm.
so it's 4 shots at a time, and I'll have 2 to 4 of those in a day.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I love my coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the Kickstarter, I've teamed up with deliverfund.org, which is a human trafficking awareness organization, which relates to the book.
Yeah.
And we can get into that in a little bit. But they have a 12-ounce coffee that we're teaming up with the graphic novel. So you get the 12 ounces of great coffee and you get the great graphic novel, and you start your day off with a great cup of coffee and a great read. So there you go. And
I
you're
mean,
supporting deliverfund.org, which is the organization helping law enforcement deal with human trafficking.
that's amazing. It's a complete no-brainer success right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Comics,
So
coffee, and for an absolutely excellent cause. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, so yeah, the Last Spartan. You've launched this on Kickstarter. You're funded in less than 24 hours,
yeah.
with a large goal, 25K. That's a pretty big goal.
We've
To
got a
just
long way to
blow it
go
water.
with the
Yeah.
list of people that I've brought. Well, actually, that my wife brought together. To give you a little
Mhm.
bit of a backstory, my wife is Renee Geerlings, who was the editor in chief of Top Cow for about a decade. Mark Silvestri was her very first
Mhm.
boss in the comic industry. She's been doing it for decades now. She's worked for several different companies: Top Cow, IDW, Radical, and she's worked on some really great projects. So it just seemed like the two would mix. I said, "Hey, let's look at this property um, as a graphic novel." It was originally a book by John Saunders, a
Yes.
friend of mine. Came across my plate about 15 years ago, and I was always wanting to figure out how to make the world bigger and more modernized to today's
Mhm.
situations. So that's why I had my wife reach out to Christopher Priest, and we had a meeting, and he really liked it, and took. I think we were researching and dealing with it for like 2.5 years to get the story
Okay.
written, and I would be like, "Okay, Christopher, I'd like to have this element in the book," and he goes, "That would never happen." And of course, through the articles that I would present to him through the research, it would just drop his jaw. He goes, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we have to put that into the book."
Yeah.
And so it's been a slow process building this world that this graphic novel has, but it's been well worth it. Like I say, we got Christopher Priest who has written it. We've got great top tier artists. Mark Silvestri
Mhm.
did our cover for us.
Oh yeah.
We've got Will Conrad doing interiors, Jimbo Salgado doing interiors, Michael Montnot doing interiors. We got a variant cover by Sia Ohm. I mean, it is just
Yeah.
top tier. So we've got a long way to go with the Kickstarter, but we're raising the awareness, and it is all for a great cause to help people realize that human trafficking is a serious problem out there. And if this opens up a few people's eyes to what is going on, all the better.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. The depth of the talent involved with the book was something that like instantly caught my eye. Like Christopher Priest, Mark Silvestri, two of my favorite creators, all time. And I'm like, oh wow, this is, Tyler's serious. He wants to make like, this goes beyond the, supposed, actor wants to make a book to to have a precursor for a movie or a film or something. Like, no, Tyler's looking to make a kick-ass book first and
Yes.
foremost. And that's something I was like, awesome. And then obviously, hearing like your involvement with it, and you're definitely a pro at these interviews because you've literally answered most of my questions about how did Christopher Priest get involved, and how much involvement did you have with working with Christopher? Was it kind of a back and forth with everything? And
Yeah,
but
it's
like,
Christopher is such a great guy to collaborate with,
yeah,
It's just we would bounce stuff. Renee, myself, and Christopher would just bounce stuff off of each other, and it just evolved.
yeah,
Characters would come into play to make this a bigger world, and storylines, and the way Christopher would crisscross story paths. I mean, it's just phenomenal. His writing
yeah.
is spectacular.
Yeah, someone like Christopher, who's just a legend and just so just talented, but also like you know it speaks to someone's confidence in their own ability to be able to sit back and just like listen to anybody who has ideas and things like that, because it can be very easy for you know a, a long-standing creative in any field to be like, well, I've been doing this forever, like I know what's best for this. But it's great to hear that Christopher is just like, no, let's do all this stuff. Let's get in, because that truly, I'm sure makes the project even more special to you than it already is. And it just, it makes everything better, when everyone's
Yeah,
in it and passionate about it. That's something that I think is missed a lot with comics, with some folks, that they don't realize that most of the people making these things, like we would do this no matter what, and
yeah.
we're very passionate about it. And that, I'm sure that's true to all creative fields. Like you started Main Entertainment to just start making your own stuff. Like you're like, I don't want to sit around and wait. I want to get stuff done, and that's very much the vibe of comics, especially with Kickstarter. Now we don't have to sit around and wait. We do it, get it done, get it out there. You get, as of recording, you have 23 days left to go. This will be posting next Monday. Still, a couple weeks
Plenty of
left.
time. Yeah.
I've, I've been in a couple Kickstarters this year with my own books, and yeah, I know the stress. Even when it's fun even when you hit that initial goal, you're like, great, but then you're still feeling like, well, how many more people can I reach now? How
Right.
far can I take this? How many stretch goals can we go? And especially with the charity component you have going on with that, it's like, well, even more like, let's keep going. Let's get more people getting this tier, getting these bags, getting that money to that organization. And that's really, really awesome. Um, in in the whole creative process with everything, you mentioned that it was based off some novels from John Saunders. Has he been involved much with the creative aspect of the graphic novel, or was he just kind of like,
Well,
go do it?
yeah, he's my business partner in this adventure, but he said, I want you guys to do this with Christopher, take the world to another place, and let's see where it goes. The end goal is I would really love to be able to turn this into a TV series or a
Yeah.
feature film so we can keep raising awareness
Yes.
on this issue, because human trafficking is very, very serious. It's like a lot of people think it's a border thing. It is, but actual fact is 80% of the Americans that are being trafficked by Americans in America. This is
Yeah.
a situation that's happening in every city across the country, and every rural area is dealing with it. And it's something that really people need to open up their eyes and realize that it is a very serious subject, and we need to put an end to it, because human trafficking has been around since the dawn of time, but it is the worst it is now
Yeah.
because of the internet, because
Yes.
kids are going online and they're talking to people that they think are their age.
Hmm.
And, then they go, oh, let's go meet up, and then find out that it is a totally different situation.
Yeah.
And so if this book can help parents raise awareness or open up some people's eyes to what could be happening, and to have open up a communication between the kids and the parents and the adults, I will have succeeded.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. It's, for sure, this would be like a perfect series, type setup for, any type of, ongoing series, both in graphic novel form and in TV form, or even, movie form, which, I, I will say I did mention the vanity project aspect, but that was under the quality of the book, because I've seen so many vanity projects for things, and this does not seem like that in the absolute slightest, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because
Yeah. This
while
is
of
more of a
course,
passion. This is more of a
yeah,
passion project,
yeah, yeah,
Like with doing the research, I realized that I had to seriously do something and help raise awareness for this, and
yeah,
it is it is a very serious situation, and it's as a graphic novel, as a TV series, as a film, it can keep going so many different places because
yeah,
there are so many new situations arising with the human trafficking. You have sex
yeah,
trafficking, but you also have labor trafficking, and you have
yes,
so many different avenues that people are doing it. It's just despicable,
yeah.
and
It
with
is,
the
and I mean,
research, I've opened my eyes to take a different look at situations.
yeah. I mean, I've even before, a lot of more reports are coming out about this kind of stuff. I would see a lot of, posts and things like that about, women talking about how, like, why is this weird thing on my car? And people are like,
Yeah,
that's a mark. You're
yeah,
being marked by somebody, like, and just, trying to spread that word. It's just, it's, the internet obviously has made everything kind of worse,
yes,
and but it goes as low tech as that, as like a
yeah,
a water bottle under someone's tire, wheel well or something like that, or a ribbon or something. And I as a husband, father, like, I deeply appreciate people like you who are like, no, I'm going to use you know everything, all the resources I have to bring awareness to something like this, because it is a concern, because we, you know thanks to the internet and some aspects, we are more aware of what's happening everywhere. So
yeah,
it's not
totally.
just, like you said, it's not just a big city thing.
Right.
It's everywhere. You got to be cognizant everywhere all the time, because you just don't know. Even quieter
Yeah.
places are bigger targets, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just
Like, well,
it's
and
insane.
through my research for the book, I talked to first frontline
Hmm.
responders and law enforcement, and they're just really appreciative that we're here and getting
Hmm.
the word out because it is a very serious topic. And if a person is taken and they're gone for up to 72 hours, the mental stress that is on their head and on their situation, it is a scar that lives with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
So law enforcement is trying to put an end to this, and if I can help them with that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, and that you're certainly putting, I think the best foot forward in doing something like that by, you know, not only doing a book that is uh, in an industry that is just rife with people who are ultra passionate about it. You're doing it with people who are endeared to the industry. You have a stake. You're a lifelong comics fan. You've portrayed iconic characters. You were on Jupiter's Legacy, obviously Sabretooth, I'm sure we can mix Michael Myers into comics. He's been in some comics,
Yes,
the genre of all that.
he has
And
he has his comics.
yeah. So it's awesome just to see the reaction so far it's been getting from everybody. Um,
Yeah,
and
it's fantastic.
and the art looks great. Will Conrad's awesome. Jimbo. I'm not ultra familiar with Michael Montanet's work, but I'm sure it's if he's with everyone else, I'm sure it's amazing. It's and then when I saw that your wife was Renee Geerlings, I'm like, I was a Top Cow fanboy for like the latter half of the '90s, so I'm like, I'm sure I have in this closet over here, I'm sure I have stacks of books with her name as editor-in-chief on there.
Yes, you probably do.
Yeah. And again, that's what really caught my eye to, is like the Marc Silvestri cover, because Marc Silvestri was my guy. That was my artist.
Yeah,
That
I
was
mean,
my
his art is phenomenal. The
yeah
cover is
yeah
amazing. I
yeah
can't thank Mark enough.
it truly is awesome. Um, so with talking a little bit more about the Kickstarter, are there any specific tiers aside from the coffee one with the charity component that you're really excited for people to check out, that you think people would really really dig?
Yeah, I mean, we've got tiers from just the graphic novel, 144-page graphic novel, soft cover, for $29, all the way up to some really crazy tiers.
Hmm.
We even have retailer tiers. So I'm planning on doing a comic book store signing tour. So and a lot of companies and a lot of stores are jumping on for that, so I can go meet their fans, and they can meet me as Sabretooth or Michael Myers, and also pick up this great novel. So it's just a fantastic opportunity, and it's a great way to reach out and meet with my fans. But there is an homage to the Halloween 2007
Yeah, I saw that.
poster that is a hardcover that is just amazing. I'm still blown away by that. It's
Yeah, that cover looks that looks phenomenal. It's kind of
yeah,
interesting just to see how this like quickly iconic, like that poster became, because as
yes.
soon like I saw it out of context with, because I was aware of the last Spartan at that point, but I saw it out of context from the campaign and all that. It just flashed by my social media, and I'm like, it was instantly like, oh, Halloween. And I'm like, oh no, wait, that's and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you know
Well, like the Halloween held the Labor Day box office record for
mhm,
14 years. So
yeah.
I figured I had to do
Um,
like a little homage cover to it.
yeah, yeah, and this being October,
Yes,
the month of
tis the
Halloween,
season. Tis
yeah.
the season.
And personally, my own art career has kind of like led me to horror, even though I never really thought that's going to be my path. So I'm kind of like surrounded by horror stuff, and I've really gotten into like YouTube channels that have deep dives into horror franchises and stuff like that. And it's been really cool to see the two Halloweens that you were in that have been like kind of uh, embraced a lot more as the years go on, as much as they were
Yeah.
in the beginning. And I'm seeing a lot of like retrospectives of like, let's look back at Rob Zombie's Halloween, and everyone's like, just I think there's been because there's obviously detractors for everything, but I with it the time it came out, I don't think the online thing was as prevalent as it would be for a movie coming out now. So I don't know how much of the discourse was about any of the changes made or anything like that, and stuff like that. But uh, I've always seen Halloween as something that people were just very, like they like held that first John Carpenter one like a teddy bear.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is a huge franchise. There's like
Yeah.
13 films in the franchise right now, and John Carpenter's in '78 kicked it all off. We
Oh
just
yeah.
had our 45th
Hmm.
anniversary for the series. So, you've got 13 different films in there with several different Michael Myers, and it's just it's amazing
Yeah.
to see
And
how the series has evolved.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And and it's been interesting to see a lot of those people who have who keep that first one on that such a high pedestal have started to now really appreciate all of the variant ones. I'm sure there's still a couple in the 90s that people aren't super fond of, but even
Wow.
then those have their fans,
Yeah.
and it's just been really cool to see, and it's awesome to see like how much you embrace the fans, and how much you're just like so welcoming of everybody, and everyone's always it seems like whenever you're at a show or something, like you're having a great time, everyone's having a great time. And that's always great to see, because there's a lot of not so much now, but I'm 41, so I'm still like of the age where, you know, actors who portrayed legendary characters and stuff coming to cons and stuff was kind of like, they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to, like do that. But now it's like they're missing out if they're doing that, because you're getting such a connection with people
Yeah.
on that.
Like,
Oh,
I realized that without the fans, back when I was wrestling, without the fans, I wouldn't have a
yes.
career,
Yeah.
So it's my way to give back to the fans, to interact with them and to have that experience with them. And with talking to the fans at the conventions, it even instilled more in me that I really needed to do something, because,
Hmm.
every time I'm either talking, I meet first responders, I meet psychologists, I meet nurses that are dealing with the aftermath of human trafficking, and then I meet the other fans that one gentleman said, "Man, my niece was just about trafficked." And he told me the story. And he says, she was at a club and she was drugged, and these two guys were trying to drag her out the back door. Luckily, a bouncer realized it and stopped them and beat the hell out of the one guy, and the other guy ran away. And through the law enforcement's backtracking, following their steps, they found three women that were drugged and chained in a hotel, and this was going to be the fourth. So he's like, "Thank you for raising awareness for this, because I could have lost my niece forever."
Yeah.
And it is just, when you hear stories like that, you realize just how much you need to raise the awareness for this, because it does affect people.
Hmm.
And it's something, it scars them for life,
Yeah.
not just the victim, but the families of the victims also, because they don't know what's happened to their loved one.
Yeah.
And it's a serious thing that needs to be addressed. And I'm just so happy that I can get this project out there, The Last Spartan Red Tape, on Kickstarter now. So until through November 16th. So please, everybody, check it out. I would greatly appreciate your support and helping raise awareness.
Yeah. Can't say it any better than that. It is a fantastic looking campaign. Plenty of awesome tiers for everybody. The retailer tier with the visit is really cool. It's good to see people are taking advantage of that. And I thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
If you could spare me a few more minutes, you know, you mentioned you own some guitars, and anyone who's listened to my show before knows if someone mentions they play guitar, I gotta ask what they're playing, what do they got, what's their favorite, uh, what kind of guitars you got going on there?
Oh man, I've got Strats. But my favorite is I've got a Les Paul Florentine with a Bigsby
Oh,
rig,
nice.
and I love that thing.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
it.
I do. Um,
I don't get to
Obviously,
play it enough, but I love it.
no, you're obviously obviously super busy, and I can certainly empathize with that. Obviously, I have quite the collection here, and I have like several more in front of me. You don't see, but when my wife's always like, how many guitars would you ever, if you had no limit, how many guitars would you have? I just say all of them.
Right?
They're all different. They're all different. Like each one I have here, it's tuned to a different tuning. It's got different like pickups. They do a different thing. And then you mentioned yours has a Bigsby, and I'm like, yeah, a Bigsby would be nice. That's a different kind of tremolo system. That'd be really
Yep.
cool to have. So yeah, it's
I am nowhere near as extreme as you are, brother.
uh,
I just piddle around for fun. I run it through a little mini Marshall amp, and I'm,
hey, it's
and I'm
it, it
happy.
I mean, that's the most basic fun thing you can do. Just plug in, just mess around. Like that's the that's some of the best Sunday afternoons for me,
Yep,
or when I just get to sit
exactly.
down, plug in, and just noodle around for a bit. Not
Yep.
think about anything, and just kind of go off from there. So, thanks for indulging me on asking you about the guitars.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. Everyone, please do go check out The Last Spartan Red Tape. It's a fantastic looking book, awesome Kickstarter, and hopefully you can plow through a whole bunch of these stretch goals and get some more awesome stuff and get everything out to the people, especially with the coffee tier, and getting more support for law enforcement to help investigate human trafficking. Thank you so much, Tyler. now is the time to let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and I'll make sure there's links to everything in the show notes and all that below.
Yeah. On most of them, it's the real Tyler Main on Instagram, Facebook. You can get a link to the Kickstarter also through my web pages, Maine Entertainment, MANE Entertainment.com and TylerMain.com, and they will direct you to the Kickstarter. And I would, like I say, really appreciate everybody's support so that we can take this and raise awareness and keep creating more.
Awesome. Thank you again.
Thank you for your time.